Nice talking to you, man. How's everything going?
Everything is going well, and we'll start right off the bat. This JPP situation is really bizarre. But first, I want to ask you a couple questions. You played in the NFL for a decade or so, and I just missed you. You went with Detroit, so I missed you by a year covering the Eagles. Was there ever any type of clause in your contract that stated something where you couldn't play basketball, you couldn't ride a motorcycle?
Oh, yes, there is. You can't play basketball. It says in your contract you can't play basketball. You can't ride motorcycles. Those are all things that are worked into your contract, especially when they know if you're a guy that plays a lot of basketball. I played basketball in college for a year, so they knew I liked to play. So it was written up in my contract that if I got hurt while playing basketball in the off season, it would null and void my contract.
Really?
Yes, they do have contract. Yeah, they do. And I would think, with him, JPP, there's nothing about as far as fireworks, but that just wasn't smart, man. It just wasn't smart at all.
Hey, listen, I agree 100%, just like the situation with C.J. Wilson. I mean, it's just a bad situation. Again, if you guys are just tuning in, former Eagle and Super Bowl winner with the Steelers, Barrett Brooks, joining us, does a great job on Bob on the morning on Comcast Sports Network. You can catch him every morning.
Thank you.
Early on, he gets up, and he looks good doing it.
Yeah, we're up early in the morning.
Yeah, you are. A lot of coffee.
In the morning.
A lot of coffee, B. Hey, I'm just curious. Okay, again, you dealt with reporters every single day during a season, even in the offseason.
Right.
You build rapport with reporters. You probably gave them some information. Maybe there were times when you were injured or if you were going to get traded or released or sign a contract. Talk about the game. There's things on the record, there's things off the record. I know a lot of people are being critical of Adam Schefter posting the medical records on Twitter. I didn't like it. I had an issue with it. I think he just reported it. I think it was a privacy issue. We're not even talking about the hospital now. My question to you is, when this happens and you have a guy that covers the league, as a player, are you now, when you see something like this happen, because James Harrison came out and blasted him today?
Yeah, I played with James. We call him Silverback. Yeah, it showed that, that Schefter, and I never thought he was a guy, but he lacks a little goof in really posting that. I mean, you could actually just report it and say that you got it from reliable source. You have some documentation that shows that, yes, this is what's happening. You didn't need to post his records on, tweet his records on that. I mean, that shows a lot of, there's a lot of trust between players and Adam, and a lot of guys like Adam because, he's a straightforward guy. But for him to do that really puts himself in a bad situation with a lot of players, and a lot of players won't talk to him now because of that.
That's exactly where I wanted to ask you. As a guy that played in the league for so long and still having existing relationships, I don't know if you had an opportunity to talk to any players over the last day or so, but would it be of the mindset they're going to be a little weary now to approach any reporter that does something like this going forward?
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth, Rich. It's a lot to do with also the agents. Will stop talking to him. He has a lot of GMs and people that give him privileged information that they trust him with because he is a pretty much a guy that really shoots them straight. So it's going to have a lot of agents even hesitant to talk to him, and the agents pretty much are the guys that give them the major part of the information that he gets. They leak it to him knowing he's going to report it in the right way. Him going out and really tweeting those records really put him in an unselling light to most players, most GMs, and most agents, just because you just don't do that. There's a certain amount of respect. There's a certain amount, and not even to say the HIPAA rules. Whoever leaked it to him is going to be in a whole lot of trouble. And they're going to eventually find out who it is. HIPAA does not play, and there might be some criminal charges involved with this just because you're not allowed to do that.
And remember, really there was also and Barry, remember, there's another name on that medical record which makes it third party, which is not deemed newsworthy. So that also opens up.
Oh, absolutely, yes. He could be in some trouble for it, yes.
Wow. Again, a couple minutes with former Super Bowl winner Barrett Brooks with the Eagles and the Steelers, and, of course, kind enough to join us every morning. You check him out on Bob on Comcast Sports and Comcast Networks. You played tackle position. Obviously, you went up against defensive tackles and ends, and I guess it's tough to gauge right now, but talk about leverage in the trenches and getting off the ball in the line of scrimmage. And with this type of loss of a finger for Pierre-Paul, I know you guys tape your hands. I know you tape your fingers too. I know a lot of players that do that. But, from the line of scrimmage, his explosion from his legs and then using his hands, they mean everything. They mean everything.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's gonna take a bit of him getting used to it.
Okay.
But it's not gonna be an injury that's gonna really hurt him from being a great player, a great defensive end, because a lot of players don't use all their fingers anyways. A lot of the time they're broke. I know I broke each one of my fingers and my thumbs at least 2 to 3 times through the course of my 12-year NFL career. So I've learned how to use them without, hurting them. I've taped them together, which essentially makes them one finger. So that won't be a situation where it'll really hurt his playing directly. But I mean, I do think that he's not going to be as good as effective, but he'll be effective enough that it will not take away from what he brings to the table on the field. Period, point blank. And if the Giants don't try to patch his relationship up, they took that $60 million contract off the table, and he still hadn't signed his tender yet. He could really be a disgruntled employee. And, it could be a bad deal for the Giants. So, I mean, I think they better get straight and understand that this guy is still going to be a great player, and there's going to be a long line of teams trying to sign him if the Giants don't do right by him.
Well, and conversely, the Giants might look at this and shake their head. You just wonder the reaction of Coughlin when he found this news and it was leaked out, and he found out, and the fact that Ronnie Barnes went down there, Armstead went down there, Pierre-Paul didn't want to meet with them, and rightfully so. I get it, because he didn't sign that tender, but they offered a major contract, and then after this, you pull it off the table. So hopefully, look, the Giants need Jason Pierre-Paul. They need him to be effective this year. I got you for a couple more minutes. Let's kind of keep it back locally again with the NFC East and the Philadelphia Eagles, because everyone knows at the end of the day, and I know we'll talk more about this in the next couple weeks, at the end of the day, it's going to be who's under center. It's either going to be Sanchez or Bradford. It seems like they're banking on Bradford, and a healthy Bradford at that. Again, take me inside the mind of a player. If you're, you have to pick Sanchez, Bradford, both healthy, who's the better fit for the Eagles right now going forward?
Well, there's no question that Sam Bradford's the best quarterback on that roster. He's a guy that can go out and he can dictate a game. What he brings to the table is an awareness of where the blitz is coming from. He makes faster decisions. He can break down defenses faster than Sanchez. He has a stronger arm than Sanchez. He's a better athlete than Sanchez. He's an overall better player. This guy was a first-round draft pick, so he can go out there and dictate a game, and that's why Chip Kelly loves him so much. Why would they give this guy going to the season with a lame duck contract with this guy unless they thought that he's going to be instrumental in them going to the next level? He is the difference maker in this team. He is that good. I've been a big proponent of his. I like Sam Bradford. I watched every game that he's played the last 4 years because I work at NFL Films and I break down every play. And in saying that, I know that he's a way better player than Foles, Sanchez, and anybody else on the roster. He's probably, I'd say tied for second in the division. The only quarterback probably better than him is Romo. And, I think if you put him on an even level.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I got it.
Him and Eli on the same. Eli, both of his Super Bowls, I think that he's on the same level as Eli.
You knew exactly where I was going before I was about to jump on you. You know me all too well. Hey, listen, speaking of quarterbacks, Russell Wilson. I know he wants to get paid, and he's led Seattle to 2 straight Super Bowl appearances. They won one, obviously, 2 years ago. If it wasn't for the bonehead call by Carroll, they probably win another one. I guess the question is the only reason Seattle's weary about giving him money because down the road they're not going to have enough to go about paying the Legion of Boom and paying some of those guys back there?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's the biggest issue. They have too many guys that have to play next year. If you look at the Legion of Boom, they have the Wagner. Wagner has to get paid this next year coming up. Their left tackle, UConn, he has to get paid. Gokhan has to get paid next year. There's a lot of guys that's going to strap their salary cap, and they're not going to be able to pay them all. I think what they're doing, they're trying to see if they can work out a deal where they give them an incentive-based contract, which could take away from the salary cap a little more. But I doubt seriously if Wilson wants to do that. He's not going to want to do that. They want to give him a contract in which, if he makes the incentive, it'll take a lot less of the cap hit off when they do pay him. And he's not going for that. What if he has an off year? What if he doesn't have the running back he had last year? There are things that could dictate him not getting the money if he doesn't accomplish those goals to get those to reach those goals to get the higher contract money. So I think that's the biggest reason why he hasn't signed that contract yet. But they better get it together because Seattle, he's the cog that runs that whole machine. You know, say what you want to say about Marshawn Lynch. If it wasn't for the way that Russell plays, that team would not be where they are now.
Anything you got working on tomorrow on Breakfast on Broad on Bob tomorrow? Anything we should look out for?
Oh, man, we got a whole bunch of stuff going on, man. We got a couple of, with the U.S. women winning the whole soccer cup. We got a little bit of that mixed in, you know. We got it all mixed. We even got a little Phillies action going on, you know, as far as, you know, with the trades and all that stuff that's going on, and then bringing up Aaron Nola.
Yep.
We got a lot coming up. So, hey, man, just tune in, man, and I appreciate it, man. And then anytime you need me, give me a call, bro. I'd love to talk to you.
All right, you got it, B. I appreciate it, pal. Be well.
Take it easy, man.
All right, you got it. There you have it.